Well, good morning from Las Vegas, day 2 of NAB 2013. This is Broadcast Show Live coming to you from the Teradek booth here at NAB. We've got 45 minutes of fun, new technology to look at, lots of guests. Stay tuned. Well, we've got a lot to get through and some exciting stuff to look at. Our first get up is Stuart from Blackmagic. Hi, Stuart.
Hello, good morning, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Now, NAB is always an exciting time for Blackmagic design. It's the time when the big announcements come out, and this year's no exception.
That's right.
We've got a few toys here to look at. Just some of the new stuff you're showing this year at NAB. Do you want to go through what we've got here? And
Well, I think that a lot of people are starting to realise that for us, NAB is quite a big show. And you know, last year we obviously made our first step into the camera world, and we announced the Blackmagic Cinema camera, which was a 2.5K RAW camera with ProRes and DNx HD. I think people were thinking that we might do something else on the camera front, but I think we threw a bit of a curveball because we didn't just announce one camera; we actually announced two.
You did.
So what you can see actually here on the desk is the two new cameras that we're showing, and to kind of start from the one closest to me and then working towards you. This is basically a 4K camera, so it's Ultra HD. Some of the main differences between this camera and the other camera are that it's got a Super 35mm sensor. It's got a global shutter. It's also got built into it as well 6 gig SDI, which is a new technology that we're really pushing hard. I think that when we start looking at Ultra HD, we're seeing it shows like CES and some of the more consumer-based shows, that there is, there are monitors now coming readily available with HDMI 1.4 connection and so on. So we need to start to think about the workflow in a broadcast environment, how we're going to deliver that Ultra HD across further distances. So we teamed up with a couple of other manufacturers and we developed, or worked closely on 6 gig SDI, which is basically 4 times the bandwidth of SDI. So not only does this capture beautiful images, it does 12 stops of dynamic range, and can be used in a dramatized environment or documentary-based environment. But also now it's got 6 gig SDI output, and it will also be doing 1080i on the output as well, so we can link that in with our switches. So that was a big announcement. That's that's basically true 4K for 4K because we actually announced it as $3,995. So that's a big step for us.
And the lens mounts on this one?
So this is EF again, which means all those EF mount lenses like from Zeiss and from Canon work perfectly. I mean, both those manufacturers make beautiful lenses. So there's no point in throwing away a technology or throwing away lenses that are fantastic. And then kind of as we move down, I mean, this is the one which I think people were really shocked at. I think last year we talked about some of the things that what we believe were very important about making a high-tech, beautiful cinema camera, and that was, dynamic range, also high resolution, great interaction with color correction. So what we did is we took all those ideologies from the original camera, and we thought, let's try and see if we can make it smaller. So what you've got here is a Super 16 sensor, and it's HD, so it's 1080p, but it's got 13 stops of dynamic range. So when you actually look at the HD output from this camera, it is every bit as good as the 2.5K on HD output. It also records in, as well as ProRes, it will also record in visually lossless cinema DNG, so you can get RAW files off it. Which means for those people kind of not familiar with the RAW workflow, basically you are shooting frames. So when you actually take this and put this into your machine and you start to work on the edit or start to work on the color correction process, you won't see it as a video clip, you'll see it as individual frames. But other key features with this as well is that you've got all the connections on the side, which are sort of HDMI on the side, you've got all of your audio and your headphone connections. You've also got things like a LAN control on there as well for rigs and housing and crash cams. And but one of the other main features is that there's a removable battery, which is a Nikon battery.
Right. Oh, okay.
And also you have an SD card in there. So what that means is that you can pretty much take the camera footage straight out the camera, put it into the side of your laptop, and away you go.
And again, the mount on this one?
So this is an active micro four thirds. Right. So we've been doing some quite cool stuff at the show. We've been showing the camera with a range of micro four thirds lenses. But I think probably one of the cool things that people are picking up on is we've also got one of the large ARRI 18 to 80 mm lens.
I did see this yes.
And this camera's kind of like hanging on the back. But I think people are pretty staggered by what we're trying to achieve and what we're doing with it. And we think that we're very far down the production process, and hopefully by July we can get these in people's hands.
Excellent. Well, I was just about to ask the availability of these. Pricing on this one?
So this is $995. So this is less than $1,000. But I think I just want to reiterate the point really that this is not a video camera, and people sort of say, well, what's the difference? And what I would say is this is actually a Super 16 digital cinema camera. Sure. Whilst it creates ProRes video, and it also creates those raw files, the quality of the dynamic range and the quality of what this camera can do will give you cinematic images.
Brilliant. Very impressive as always, Stuart. Look, thank you for coming on. But you have a lot more announcements as well this year. If people want to pop down and see you, whereabouts can they find you at the show?
Yeah, so if they go to the South Hall and they walk in, as they walk in through the front door past Starbucks, they'll see a big wall on the right-hand side, and that's where we are.
That's where you are. Fantastic, Stuart. Once again, thank you. We will be seeing you later on for some interviews anyway, and we'll catch up more on that. Brilliant.
Well, it's a pleasure to be invited.
Brilliant.
Thank you very
much,
Thanks
Stuart.
a lot.
Brilliant. As always, Blackmagic pull one out the bag on NAB. Had no idea something like that was going to be turning up. If you want to go and see them, obviously they're in Southall. You can't miss the stand. It's a massive stand at the entrance of Southall. We will be getting our next guest ready. We like to move on through. The idea being is that you get to see a quick glimpse of what's being shown here at NAB. If you are watching this and you're in the Vegas area, obviously make sure you come down. If not, we will be putting up interviews, and this live show, of course, will be up again for you to see at broadcastshow.com. In the meantime, we've got John Payne in here. Hey. Hello, John.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. We've met a few times already in the last couple of days. We've done some interviews and things already. Thank you for coming on. You've managed to get here and obviously bring this with you. Now, I know a little bit about this. We spoke about it yesterday
a few times
at your stand. But for those who don't, do you want to give us a little overview of what we've got here?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Connect Live that we're introducing at this show this year. Yeah. And what it is, it's really a Swiss Army knife of wireless camera transmitters. It involves bonded cellular technology, similar to the Teradek. But in addition to that, it allows transmission over satellite links. So TV station might have Ka-band return links, so you can add streaming over the Ka satellite band, as well as COFDM. So in a situation like a trade show or in a stadium where bonded cellular technologies may have difficulties, you can switch over and use the COFDM to get the signals through. So it really is, like I say, the full-featured product that has all these different connection mechanisms.
Right. So the idea being is that one box stuck on the back of your camera can effectively give you connection just about anywhere you could possibly want.
That's right, in any conditions that you're in. So
you don't have to think about, I need another box, I need to think about how am I going to get my signal from here to here.
That's right.
So the box itself, obviously you look at it, it's nice and sleek and there's not many buttons on it. So how do you manage the configuration of it?
So we've partnered with a technical partner, Jachetta, and Jachetta provides really the minute side. So Newcom did all of the technology, the hardware, the microwave technology, the cellular technology, and the coding. Jachetta brought to it the bonding, some of the bonding techniques, as well as the minute management and a portal. And the portal, through the portal, you can at the studio, they can completely remote control and manage the product right through the web page back in the studio. So from the field, there are some very simple controls to switch between bonding mode or COFDM mode through the touch panel.
Right.
But a lot of it can be managed, offloaded from the cameraman and pushed back to the TV station to be doing that kind of management. It also doubles as a viewer. So a lot of times you'll have a monitor on the camera, So this actually replaces that and gives you yet another feature.
So literally one box will sort everything out. What's the availability of this?
We'll be shipping full production units in September, and we're doing quite a bit of extensive demos in July.
Excellent. So. Now, obviously, you've got your booth here at NAB, and obviously, this is being shown. You got anything else you're showing this year?
We are. We have a weather lab truck.
Yep.
We build electronic news gathering trucks, or what's very popular is the weather lab, so that you can go out, a reporter can go out and do a full weather shot remotely, and so it's a really unique product as well.
Excellent. And if people want to come and see you, whereabouts will they find you at the show?
We're in the Central Hall, midway down, 6063.
They can come and see you there. And
absolutely.
To find out obviously more about this, is there a website they can go to?
Yep, www.imtsolutions.com.
Brilliant. John, thank you very much for coming on. We much appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This is an amazing piece of kit. I look forward to seeing it in action at some point. But thank you very much for coming on. Let us know
what
you're showing here. Thank you very much, John. Had a look at that at the Jachetta stand. It's quite impressive, and it's very easy to control. You can just press a few buttons and switch between the modes, and off you go. Just to say, the videos again are going to be up on our website, which is broadcastshow.com. We also have a YouTube channel, which I believe is TV Bay Broadcast Show. All the videos that we do here at NAB, the live shows that we do once a month, and all the videos we've done from previous shows, you'll find on there. You can search for anything you want, and I'm sure you'll find something of interest. We're going to get our next guest on. Our next guest is David Alexander from Brainstorm. Hi David, good to see you. Welcome.
Good morning. Hi.
Welcome to the booth.
Thank you.
It's a bit like streaming from a fishbowl, isn't it? But
it is
it's
a little
quite
bit,
good.
yes.
It keeps the sound down, and it's working very well. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about Brainstorm.
Okay.
And obviously, what are you guys talking about this year at NAB?
Well, let me just answer the first question about Brainstorm itself, because for those here in the US who perhaps don't know the name, Brainstorm Multimedia is a Spanish-based company, and although we have very much of an international reach, probably about 90% of our business is international. So right around the world we have systems installed with major broadcasters. And talking about systems as such, what we do is we do virtual studios and on-air graphic systems there. Which I'll mention in a bit more detail. But the other areas of our business are production services. So we provide, for example, for the BBC, we provide their election graphics, where we do a complete turnkey package from the design right through to the on-air play out there. And we also do OEM, so some of our core render engines, our software is inbuilt into products such as the Avid Motion Graphics, the AMG, which Avid has recently launched, which replaces their Deco systems there. So those four areas, virtual studios, on-air graphics, OEM, and production services is really what we do. That's right,
So as far as NAB is concerned, it's always good to talk about specifics and new stuff that's coming out. Anything exciting with you guys?
Yes, we're over on the South Lower Hall, booth 10621. So, and what we're showing there, we've got a theatre presentation, and that theatre presentation is based on a virtual studio, which we call the Easy Set. And as the name implies, the product is relatively easy to set up, install, and most importantly to operate. And you don't need to have very sophisticated, highly experienced people behind it. It's a trackless system, which actually makes it easier to use. Trackless system means that there's no calibration, there's no encoding, and so on. We also have those systems, and we have that's actually where we come from, the highly complex, highly versatile, multi-camera tracking systems there. But you can start at, shall we say, our entry-level system, the EasySet 3D. So it's extremely high quality. It's based on the same core engine, which we call the eStudio. And the eStudio itself is the core engine across the whole platform of all our products there. And together with the EasySet 3D, the virtual studio creation application, which is what it is, which is the main theatre presentation, we have what we call On Demand. The On Demand is a play out, a sophisticated playout system.
Yep.
And so that actually allows us to enhance a virtual studio environment.
Right.
Why? Because what we do is we're bringing in other elements.
Yep.
So for example, we'll bring in on-screen graphics. So
right.
for it could be for financial news, so there's information that comes up regarding the stock markets and so
yep.
on there. CNBC, for example, is a client of ours which uses this sort of technology to great effect.
Right.
It's the more sophisticated end where
yep.
there's it's tracking, and the presenter can pull on graphics and pull off graphics. So we do it right up to the top end.
Gotcha.
There. But in what we're showing is the virtual studio environment together with, as I say, on-screen elements that it's all 3D, it's all real time.
Yeah.
So you can have 3D elements coming flying in. They're behind or in front
yeah.
of the operator. So it is really a level of what is generally termed augmented reality.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so main theatre presentation, that's what that is. Then what we're actually showing, which is brand new here at NAB for the US market, is our Ashton 3D.
Right.
Okay, and Ashton is a well-known brand,
yep.
character generator brand, going back a long way. And Brainstorm bought Ashton
right.
a couple of years back, and we're now launching the all-new Ashton 3D and a family of products as well. Ashton 3D, what it is, it's a graphic creation system, CG and playout.
Right.
Okay, and it's typically used in very, very fast-moving news, sports, entertainment environments like that. Yeah. And it can be a complete system, i.e. the design as well as through to the playout,
yep.
which you might use in an OB application or a small station where you need to have everything all together, or in a larger environment, state broadcasters, where they have a graphic design center, so you simply have your design elements of the Ashton 3D, and then elsewhere throughout the workflow, you have different components of the system through to the playout there. All integrated within the Brainstorm framework, shall we say, and most importantly integrated within the rest of the framework of the companies.
Amazing. Is this available now for people to see?
It's deliverable now. We are shipping the first product very, very shortly. And it also represents, and I should emphasize this point, it represents a new generation of Brainstorm products there.
Right.
So the Brainstorm has always been recognized as having an extremely powerful render engine. The power behind that is used by companies like Reuters, NBC, I mentioned CNBC, BBC, NHK, Al Jazeera. We have a wide range of well-known clients who use the products. And what we're doing is marrying that power with, frankly, a much easier to use interface. Where previously it was complicated to drive, now we built in a much friendlier user interface so that more people with less experience can realize that power and take full advantage of it there.
David, that's great. If people want to find you and they're watching this, want to come and see you at the show, whereabouts are you again?
We're in the South Lower, and our stand is 10621. And we also have a range of other products such as Brain News, mentioned on demand. We have Brain Sports. So there's a lot to talk about everything. But there's an awful lot to see there. Excellent. And most importantly, it's very entertaining to see our theatre presentation. So please come and have a look at it.
David, thank you very much for coming on. It's
Pleasure.
Much appreciated. We'll send people down to come and see you. We'll pop around later and have a look ourselves. But in the meantime, David, thank you very much for coming on and letting us know what's going on. Thank you. Go and have a look. We've seen their virtual sets stuff in action before, and it is very impressive, I have to say. You can just stand there and watch it in awe sometimes of how well it works. We're going to get our next guest up. He's just getting himself mic'd up at the moment. This is Lewis from Cinegy. And then we're going to show you after that a small VT about the broadcast show tour, which is going to be happening in the UK in May, but we'll get on to that in a minute. In the meantime, we'll have a look at, oh, he's almost there. Here he is. Hi, Lewis.
Morning, John.
Morning. How you doing?
Oh, second day in Vegas. It's a bright and breezy day today, but I'm feeling okay.
Yes, at least it's not raining like it was yesterday.
That was quite spectacular.
It was, and it was literally just as everybody was coming into the show.
Yep.
We all got drenched.
Yep.
But a brighter day today. Now, Cinegy, for those who don't know, I always ask you to give a little overview of what Cinegy does and what you provide. If you can do that for me, that would be great.
Yep.
So go for it, Cinegy.
So we're a German software company.
Yeah.
My boss always has this living by the mantra of we sell software, not hardware, which we think is the future. It might not be there yet. There's still a place for hardware and boxes, but it's where the world's going to end up.
Yep.
And so we started out 10 years ago with media asset management products and desktop editing products.
Yep.
And for that whole 10 years so far, we've been doing some really great things with that. We've got it up and running, working, make shows in the UK like Strictly Come Dancing and The Apprentice, all run on top of our asset management platform and have done for many, many years now. But then after that, somewhere around 5 or 6 years ago, we branched out into making playout servers in software, which is really, really cool. And so we've been building our playout servers now for a good while, seeing as machines getting faster and faster, HD, H.264 output in software, which has been really, really well received. And then on top of that, because we were building all the playout software, we thought we'd try and jump on board the IP revolution. So more and more broadcasters now actually look at the idea of getting rid of SDI where practical and moving to an IP-based transport system. So again, 5 years ago, one of our most forward-thinking customers were like, oh, we don't have enough ducting to move SDI across the building with NAB. Can you do something with IP? We send it to consumers that way. Can we have kind of a 422 IP infrastructure? So we sorted that out and then kind of waited for the industry to notice. But in the last 2 years, we've seen a real build to the buzz of people trying to do things in IP. They've got playout servers that are going to end up in coded to go to the home, so why go back to baseband?
Absolutely.
So the big stuff that's new for us is more and more stuff in IP. We've got our IP-based vision mixer. Sorry, not vision mixer, multi-viewer. Staring at the new tech back there and watching the show go on. All I can think of is vision mixer. So we've got our IP multi-viewer, so when people bring out IP streams, we've got to manage them. So they need to track them, manage them, secure them, and actually throw them up and look at them, see what they're doing. New for us is that, and it's been really interesting to watch the industry build to how that is being more and more important. More and more people come on our booth this show saying, oh, I wanted to come and see you, we've got to do a refresh. And we thought, maybe we'd try and look at IP as the next thing to step to. And in some infrastructures and in some environments, that can really make sense today.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned obviously about software. You're doing some giveaways and things, I understand.
Well, we're huge fans of standards, and we feel that as software companies, and particularly in the media asset management space and playout space, we've made huge amounts of innovations off the back of standards like AAF and particularly MXF. So Cinegy are on the board of the AMWA. We love standards. We think that it helps the whole industry. So as part of that work, we decided that we would produce an MXF player, just a simple MXF player that uses our codecs, our MXF libraries, but lets people just double-click an MXF off a Sony XD-Cam disc or any of the various ways they can produce them. And it'll play back. It play back well. It's got all the codecs in. All the licenses are paid up. And then so we gave away a few of those at IBC, and it was quite popular. And this year, again, continuing to think about industry standards, what we've got in the new player that we're giving away 1,000 of at the show for anyone that goes and visits us on South Lower 11112. It's got an MXF analysis engine in, so it's a SMPTE-434 compatible kind of XML XSD analysis engine that lets you validate MXFs towards standards like AS03 and AS11, all baked right into the player. So, I mean, there are a lot of great players out there, some free ones as well, but they're not geared toward broadcasters. Our player is entirely expecting a broadcaster to look at it, not someone at home just trying to watch a movie. So, we've got the timecode displays in there, we've got the PPMs in there. We can validate an MXF against SMPTE-434. And it's not the kind of thing people need in their normal home consumer players, but it's the kind of stuff we put in ours. And so there's a way of kind of reminding people that we like standards. Standards are good, and we support them. We whenever we come to trade shows, we try and give away some. And marketing managed to get my boss to give away 1,000 this year.
Excellent. So if people are watching this and you are thinking of coming to NAB, then make sure they come and see the Cinegy stand.
All you do is walk up and ask for one.
Walk up. Well, I know what I'm going to do later. Obviously, we need to know whereabouts you are.
South Lower, 11112.
One more.
Yeah, so it's about 2/3 of the way back on the south lower, just past the stairs.
And then come and see you and obviously find out everything about what we've been discussing today. Now, obviously we're going out live here to the world. Some people are actually not in Vegas and they want to find out some information about you guys.
Yep.
What's the best website?
So www.cinegy.com.
Yep.
So like we said before, we're a software company, but we're also incredibly open about how we think our products stand up and how they work.
Yep.
So we actually let people just log onto our site. Anyone can go there, register and download a free version of our playout server, our asset management system, our multi-viewer.
Yep.
Give it a try. So if people think, oh, I might like to try this IP stuff, or software-based playout servers, but I don't want to part with my cash first. Just pull off a server off a shelf, install our software and try it.
Great.
Don't take our word for it.
Lewis, thank you very much for coming on and letting us know.
Thank you, John.
We'll pop down and see you later on in the show.
Thank you very much.
In the meantime, thank you very much. So, if you are going to NAB this year, pop and see them. Grab yourself a free copy of their MXF player. I think I'll have to try and see if I can wrangle one as well, because it's going to be very useful for me. Now, we're going to play you a quick clip in a minute. This is about Broadcast Show Tour Live, which is happening in the UK in May. We were visiting a number of towns, cities around the UK, and we will have speakers and we will have exhibitors and manufacturers there for you to look at some of the kit. Meanwhile, have a quick look at this video. So there you go, make sure you sign up for the Broadcast Show Tour. The link was on that. If you didn't see it, I think it's broadcastshowtour.com, and get yourself a place and come and see what's going on. In the meantime, Steve's here from Quantel. Hi, Steve.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done. I always say good morning and suddenly realise a load of people other side of the world watching us. Now, Steve, you're from Quantel. Quantel's been around a while now, well known in the industry. So I thought it'd be good to have a little chat for 5 minutes about where you see things going in the broadcast industry, technology-wise, and how Quantel are moving forwards in this industry as well. Yeah. So obviously, for those who don't know, give us a quick overview of Quantel, and then how do you think things are going? Obviously, lots of things are changing at the moment.
Lots of things are changing. Is absolutely right. I mean, Quantel's one of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, we've reinvented ourselves as a software company over the past few years. The products we have on show here at NAB are basically software products.
Yeah.
They're designed to do what our customers want them to do.
Yep.
The trick, if you like, to be a successful manufacturer is to try and listen to as many customers as you can and work out where the heck the industry's going.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of really interesting trends here at NAB that are very obvious. And one's a broadcast-related thing and one's a post-production thing.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the way these two areas have been separate for so many years are starting to come together, which is quite fun. I mean, 4K, obviously everybody's talking about 4K, I imagine everyone's mentioned that. But what's interesting now is how 4K is not just about the movies. That's traditionally what we've been thinking about.
Yeah.
But now what we're seeing is broadcasters interested in using 4K to improve the quality of their production, to deliver better information to the viewers, to do things they just can't do with high definition.
Yeah.
So they're looking at even delivering 4K to take up on the all the consumer manufacturers that want us to go and buy new Ultra HD tellies.
Yep.
But that's kind of fun, and what's interesting is that the 4K the broadcasters want is of course 50p or 60p.
Yes.
Rather than the 4K the filmmakers want, which is perhaps 24 frames a second. And that's interesting because suddenly broadcast has leaped to the top again.
Yeah.
Or is potentially leaping to the top. And we've got on Pablo Rio on our stand, we're showing 4K 60 FPS, and the picture quality is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You really do get that sense that you're looking through a window. It's not about a TV anymore, it's just real.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting development.
So would you say that at the moment with 4K, the people are using the amount of data they're getting, it's not necessarily going to be delivered at 4K to the end user or the viewer at the moment, but it gives them more scope, more image to play with.
Absolutely right. I mean, I think there are broadcasters using 4K that want to deliver a better HD quality master. There's broadcasters who are using 4K to give them more flexibility in production, so they can zoom in onto that 4K image and show close-ups without having to have a cameraman there. So there's a bit of better coverage and driving down costs. Driving down cost is a key thing for everybody these days. It's about both.
Yes,
it really is.
Yeah.
And broadcasters are starting to think about delivering it.
Yeah.
We live in a world where, thanks to digital, we have a lot more flexibility. It's not like the whole world has to agree a standard anymore before I can watch it at home. I can watch it at home over IP really easily.
Yes.
So people will see a much more pluralistic environment where there'll be SD, there'll be HD, there'll be 3D, there'll be 4K, and people will mix and match and choose. And I think that's another interesting area that you walk around the exhibition and you see 4K images on huge screens, and you also see people walking around looking at their mobile phones looking at pictures. Yeah. So we've got a massive span, a range of octaves in terms of media production. And certainly where Quantel focuses is, we're on high value production. We're on letting our customers add value, even whether it's news and sports or whether it's making movies. But the high value stuff, people want to make it great.
Yes.
And they need the tools to allow them to concentrate on making it great, not concentrate on the shape of the pixels or the frame rate or the technology. So that 4K thing is a really interesting enabler there. Just for fun, on the Pablo Rio, we're showing 8K here at NAB. 8K.
Okay.
Already happening, IMAX film formats to get the quality of IMAX, then 4K isn't enough. NHK in Japan with super high vision, pushing on to the ultimate broadcast format of 8K, which is the equivalent to 16 streams of HD. So we thought, we built with Pablo Rio, which is a software product, we built a really scalable architecture, and we can take advantage of all the great stuff that like NVIDIA do with the new Kepler K20s. And we put a few of them in a box, and we kind of wondered, where will this go? And hey, it goes all the way to 8K.
Amazing.
So that's an interesting area. Another thing that perhaps you never thought you'd see from Quantel is we've got this Pablo Rio, a high-end colour and finishing product, completely software product. There's no Quantel hardware in the box. Right. And at NAB we announced that we're supporting the AJA Corvid Ultra card. Oh, okay. So the 4K, the Quad 3G that comes out of there is an AJA system. Brilliant. So it's really nice. We've got loads of friends around the industry these days. It's not about closed solutions. It's about best of breed products coming together, best of breed software, best of breed hardware, like the Arja stuff, like the NVIDIA stuff. And Quantel is able to take advantage of all that with the architecture we have. It's real fun.
It is indeed. Now, Steve, if people want to come and see you, whereabouts will they
We're
find
on
you?
the South Lower. You can't miss us. We've got a big red sign that says Quantel. We're right near the front. You can see it when you come into the hall. We've got a fantastic show in our broadcast theatre talking about breaking down the walls in production, how we can make production more collaborative, we can lower costs, and we can massively increase flexibility. And that's another thing that's happening here. I think the broadcasters are starting to see that file-based workflow is perhaps not the ultimate panacea.
Sure.
And what we need to think about in future is about how we move beyond file-based. We have some really interesting ideas at Quantel. We're taking advantage of things like FIMS, the Framework for Interoperable Media Services. So it's a standards-based approach. But what we want to do is make it really accessible to everybody. Our future technologies in broadcast are built of the same technology that the World Wide Web is built of. And we want to make sure that initiatives like FIMS can take advantage of that. So we're actually contributing an open source API to the FIMS project, which will make the FIMS services essentially work the way the web does, much more scalable, much more location independent. So we're contributing that to the FIMS initiative, which is, again, Quantel giving open source to the community. What a change.
Absolutely.
It's an exciting time. I think, I don't know whether it's the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning, but we're starting to see here, broadcasters are thinking beyond SDI. And we've traditionally used SDI for all the real-time stuff. It's come out the back of cameras. We've got all our studios built around it. But actually, it's not a very flexible infrastructure. So now, this idea of recording, IP streams, recording RTP streams direct, recording AS transport streams direct, without having to go backwards and forwards to SDI. that seems to be capturing the imagination. It's not straightforward. It's a techie challenge. Quite a lot of people have tried to do it, but we're showing that with our Revolution Q technology on the booth. So you can, again, save a load of money and boost flexibility by moving to a more, IT-centric kind of infrastructure. And that, again, I think that's one of this is where that idea, I think, is capturing its NAB 2013.
Sounds great. Now, obviously, people can come and see you at the show. If they haven't got a chance of getting here, is there a website where you can find out all the information?
Of course, www.quantel.com. We have a show blog, which is updated, a few times a day with pictures of staff in action, interviews with the key execs and customers. So it's all there on www.quantel.com.
Steve, thank you very much. Sounds very exciting. I'll pop down later and have a look myself, especially at that 8K screen. Brilliant. Steve, thank you very much indeed. Go and have a look at their website if you can't get to come and see them here at NAB. Meanwhile, we'll get our next guest ready. Again, just to remind you we're plugging this quite a bit at the moment, but the broadcast show tour in May around the UK. We will be visiting Glasgow, I'm going to try and remember this now, Glasgow, Manchester, Cardiff, Bristol and London. We've got Jonathan Howison speaking. For one, he'll be doing seminars on lighting, and if you don't know who Jonathan Howison is, then just Google him and you'll see why you want to go and see those seminars. And we've got others there as well as a load of the manufacturers, and you can have a look at and play around with lots of their kit. Now, I believe our next guest is probably ready. He is indeed. It's Owen from Autocue.
John,
How good to see you.
It's great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Now, we work quite closely with Autocue. We do our live show with your production suite. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about prompters, and which of course is what people think about when they mention the word Autocue. Tell us a bit about the range that you're showing here.
So we've got the full range showing of the show. We're showing the starter series, and those are of course meant for people who have never used prompting before. They're fantastic for one-man setups and for somebody who's going to be prompting themselves. So, that kind of producer who's writing their own show and their own talent in their own show. Then we've also got the professional range. Those are great for CRT replacement units. Those are great for multi-camera shoots for educational or for cable access and government kind of facilities. And then of course we've got our high-end broadcast units, which of course are gracing the new BBC studios, the BBC World Studios. If you haven't seen the promo video that they put together for it, it's really nice. Really, really professionally, really, really well done.
Excellent. Now, when I was on your stand, we had a little look around yesterday.
We did.
You had some nice new small iPad prompters as well.
Indeed. And it's not just iPad either. It does fit the rest of the tablet range, so it's all adjustable. So that would include now the iPad mini, and that's the big new addition to the show. And that's going to come bundled in with the full prompter package. So if you buy an iPad prompter, you don't have to worry about whether it's a full-size iPad or iPad mini. Both of those kits are going to come in the same box. And of course it'll fit a Galaxy Tab as well, and any host of other tablet.
So as far as when you've got an iPad, if you want to control it, so a lot of the time I suspect if you've got a small prompter on the front, you're having on the front of the camera, so you could have it shoulder mounted or something like that, and not have to worry, so you can walk around and look at the prompt. How would you control the speed of the
There's
text?
3 ways, and it does depend on which kind of application you get. The one that we support is iPrompt Pro. iPrompt Pro has 2 controllers. One of them is a wired controller, and it's just going to be a 3 millimeter jack that's going to go into the where you would put your headphones. And that'll allow you to change the speed. It'll allow you to pause, resume, and it'll even let you skip forward and skip backward. And then they've got a wireless version, and that's going to work with the infrared wireless controller that you've seen with the regular Mac products.
So you can get a standard Mac remote and use that to control that. So if you were, like myself, wanted to control something, you could have that just down out the shop below you. And
so it doesn't spoil the whole mobility part of the iPad. I mean, of course, it doesn't have any power cable in because it's running off the battery, and because it's generating the script on the iPad itself, you don't have any video cables in. So it's like one of the most flexible, prompter options you have available. So you pair that with the wireless remote, and it's unstoppable. It's great.
As far as moving around, packing them up, they pack fairly small.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. So you just fold it flat, and you don't have to disassemble anything. In fact, you don't have to assemble it when you get it. When you pull it out of the box, it's already assembled. You just pop that hood up. You mount your camera to the back and you're ready to go. And then when you're done, you take the camera off and you just fold the hood down and you're all packed up.
It.
You'll probably want to take your iPad out of the assembly
yes,
too.
Probably
you're probably going to use it on the plane or in the car on your way to the next shoot. But.
And as far as camera size, I can imagine a lot of people watching this are thinking, oh, this is an opportunity to put a prompter on a smaller handheld camera. Yeah. Are you able to do that?
We are able to do it, and we did make it specifically accommodated on a hardware package. So we have the regular iPad portable, which is going to be good for like an ENG type camera.
Yep.
And then we have the iPad Lite, and that's going to be good for your very small DV type cameras, DSLRs, that sort.
Excellent. Now, if people want to come and find you, whereabouts will they find you?
So we're here in the Central Hall.
Yep.
We're at booth C8635. We're right in the middle of the thick of it. It's been really good traffic this year. A lot of excitement about the new equipment. And we've also got, of course, the workflow side of the business that we're showing. Of course, we're not talking about it here, but the workflow has been generating an enormous amount of interest this year as well.
Brilliant. So if people can come see you, they can come to the booth and find out everything, got all the prompter range up there.
Come on over.
If they're somewhere else and they can't get here, what's the best website for you?
All right, website, www.autocue.com. And you feel free to call us or send us an email. I know there's a lot of questions you might have if you don't work with teleprompters regularly, or if you have some workflow questions. We're happy to visit with you and figure out what we can do to help.
Excellent, Aaron. Thank you very much for coming on. I've had a look at the prompters, and of course they're always amazing. And again, thank you very much, Aaron. So I'm just about to find out whether this is it. Is this it? We've got one more coming on. Okay, we thought we were almost going to be running out of guests, but either managed, and the last minute he managed to make it down in time. We're just going to get Frank sorted out and wired up. Meanwhile, just to remind you that all the videos that we're doing here at NAB will be on our website. So that's broadcastshow.com. We go around, after we've done this live one, I'm walking around on the show floor, we're interviewing people, and they will be up tomorrow. So all the stuff that we've done yesterday is going up as I speak, so you'll be able to have a look at them. Just search for different products and manufacturers, and you'll find the videos. And then everything that we're doing here today, we shall put up on the website. It should be up there by tomorrow morning, US time, sometime late evening, I should think, in the UK. So we're just getting Frank sorted out as we speak, and it's nice when they rush down to come and see us. And he's made it, he's here. Hi Frank, thank you very much for coming, well done.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Now Frank, you're from MultiDyne?
Correct.
And just in case people don't know, explain what MultiDyne is all about.
Well, in a nutshell, we do all things, everything and only things fiber transport.
Yep.
So we are experts at that and only that, but that's a very broad spectrum. So that encompasses camera backs, as I'll show you shortly.
Yep.
Point-to-point cards for card cages, as well as field and rough terrain type cards.
Sure.
As well as in facility, infrastructure for anywhere from a corporate facility to Yankee Stadium.
So there's a lot happening in the world of cameras and things at the moment, and obviously with you guys creating camera back systems, you've got to keep on top of it all.
That's right.
And you've got something there to show us. What do you got there?
I do. The buzz of this show, I'm sure you've heard, is 4K.
Yes.
And then the convergence between cinema and television, which again is essentially 4K.
Yep.
So what this is our new camera back system based on the Silverback 2, which we released last year and did win an award both at NAB and IBC. And now it just grows a little thicker, as you can see, and adds the other functionality, the total of 4 HD for the 4K.
Yep.
Also does complement all the suspects for a camera, the microphones, the PL, the audio sync, and all of that, as well as runs on battery or via power sent remotely from the base station through a SMPTE cable, be it optical con or the LEMO 311. So this was released just yesterday, and it's been a tremendous reaction to this and our other sort of generic 4K products.
And so this will allow you to put it on the back. I noticed you've got a V-lock on the back there, a anti-barrel on the front.
That is correct. So this would clip on the camera back, and then a backup battery would go here, or could be the primary power, or it could come through the SMPTE. So it becomes a little bit like a SMPTE camera in that sense, in this configuration. But more importantly, we'll transport that 4K. And if you see the design here, I mean, this is machined from just two blocks of aluminum, where you really can't even tell where the camera ends and the unit begins. And that was really what we were after, to keep the balance right, to keep the look right, and particularly in cinema, but I think for anyone, you really want to have it look good. And we like to say that in the past was the BlackBerry, and it's great, but we've created the iPhone here.
Gotcha.
And I think that's quite a good analogy.
So as far as configuring the device, you've got meters on the front, I've noticed, which is quite nice to see. And it's literally everything can be done from this panel here. Do you have remote?
Well, that's a good question. This panel is actually illuminated.
Right.
Illuminated in blue LEDs.
Yep.
There's VUs here for audio.
Yep.
When you change the excuse me.
That's right.
When you change the levels, it's shown on this meter, and it gives full functionality there.
Gotcha. So everything is in one.
That's correct.
And it's not over heavy either, is it?
No, it's not, and that's very deliberate, because if you imagine being shoulder mounted or even on a tripod, not to make it grow too large, like some of the alternative systems, frankly, that has quite a few ancillary products all built into one.
Brilliant, Frank. That's great. Now we're coming to the end of our time, but if people want to find out some more information about this, or they want to come and see you on the at the show, whereabouts can they find you?
Central Hall, booth 10339.
And if they can't make it to the show, your website?
MultiDyne.com. MultiDyne.
Brilliant, Frank. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll probably have a proper look later on as well, I'm sure.
Excellent.
In the meantime, thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you.
So, that's Frank from MultiDyne. We are coming to the end of this show, and we will be walking the show floor for the rest of the day. This feed here is constantly live. There's constant shows coming on from other people, so you can stay along, stay tuned and watch. There's always something for you to see here.